Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Very good. How are you doing?
yeah, we are fine. How about you?
I'm well, I'm well.
Hello.
Yes, I think we will start and we will let the others join us along the way.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so today I would like us to talk about support and resistance. I would like us to talk about support and resistance. So our topic today is support and resistance. And my main focus here would be pivot points. Support and resistance, in this case, we are using pivot points. So I need to mention this as we proceed because I believe that support and resistance is a very critical aspect of trading, whether it's binary options or Forex or stocks. We always want to see the levels that are there in the market. On your chart, whenever you open your chart, we would like to see those levels where markets are reversing from, which are our support and resistance. Now, one of the professional tools that people use frequently in trading is pivot points. This is a very powerful tool once you know how to use it. And you will be surprised that it can be a very powerful tool in binary options as well. And so I've dedicated this discussion to using pivot points to trade binary options. Now, a very quick introduction to pivot points may not be a problem. We just need to be aware that pivot points are being used by professional traders, many of them. And the pivot points are extracted from previous day's data. Like yesterday, you take the high, you take the close, and the low of yesterday. When you divide that by 3, you get the pivot point, usually abbreviated as PP, pivot point. So a pivot point is usually, if you take the daily candle, like that for a previous day, you extract the high, this is the high. If it was a bullish candle, the candle was going up, this will serve as the closing price, and this is the low price. So if you take the high, the value for the high, this one, you add it to the close, this one, you add it to the low, this one, you divide by 3, then you get the pivot point. Now that may not be very useful because there are many indicators that are able to draw these things for us. So we don't have to sweat so much to be able to extract that. So once you get your indicator that will be able to draw pivot points for you, you'll get something like this. This is the actual pivot point. Now, from the pivot point calculated using the close, the high, and the low of the previous session, daily or hourly chart, whatever it is, then a mathematical formula is applied to create resistance 1, resistance 2, resistance number 3, support number 1, support number 2, and support number 3. So you can automatically drop this indicator on your chart. It will do these lines for you. And because it is understood, it is clear, it's evident that markets react at these levels, we would want to see how we can benefit from this indicator for binary options. Whether you are trading with the brokers that give you MT4, or you are trading with the likes of IQ option, you can put your MetaTrader 4 side by side with IQ option platform, and you'll be able to trade nicely without challenges. And so to me, I think especially for those who are struggling with drawing reliable support and resistance. This could be an additional tool you can have in your collection, and it can come to your aid anytime you feel like. So let me show you 2 ways that I can trade pivot points indicator, 2 ways. Maybe there are 3, but for now, let's start with technique number 1. One way you can trade pivot points will be
Is there any
reject.
connectivity problem?
One way you can trade this.
Exactly. It is not coming clearly.
You can hear me, guys? Hello? Hello, members. How are you? Hello? Can you hear me? Guys, I need you to confirm if you can hear me so that I don't just talk and you're not getting anything. All right. I think someone is confirming that my voice is clear, so I can continue. Now, I'm saying there are 2 ways. There could be more than 2 ways, most likely, but for now, I want us to look at 2 ways, actually 3. Let me make them 3. 3 ways of trading pivot points. So technique number 1, you do rejections. Technique number 2, you do reversals. Technique number 3, you can do closes, close, open. So those are 3 techniques you can use the pivot point indicator for. You can trade a rejection of a pivot point. You can trade close or open. You can trade reversals. I'll show you each of these. Now, maybe for you to understand what I have on my chart, I have an indicator here. The indicator I have is called WT Super Pivot version 2. You can get this online, or I can share with you. There's no problem with that. So this is the indicator I'm using from whitetigers.com, Tiger Tools. I dropped it on the chart, and the settings are just these ordinary ones. It's using the daily charts to create pivot points. Now, on my chart, what you see here, at the center, this is the pivot point. Sorry, this one here. This is the pivot point, PP. I don't know whether that P is very clear. Maybe I can change it to some different color so that you can clearly see it. That is the pivot point, this one, using daily charts. Now, if I move up, we have resistance 1, resistance 2, resistance 3. If I move down from the pivot point, we have support 1, we have support 2, and we have support 3. So automatically, you have several levels, 7 levels at least on your chart that you can trade with. Now, if you try to switch to 1 hour, to 1 minute time frame, it takes long for candles to go to that place. But if you are patient, you can. But 5 minutes would be ideal for you. 15 minutes, you can see that. So it doesn't care the time frame you are in. You can trade it on any time frame. So let me show you some of the ways you could trade this this support and resistance indicator called pivot points. I remember, actually, maybe for you who are who may not be very familiar with this, when you say support and resistance, there are many kinds of support and resistance, very many kinds of support and resistance. You can draw your support and resistance, okay? There are those support and resistance levels that you can draw. You draw them. They are the ones we draw. This one we draw them from swing highs or swing points. There are those levels we draw from swing points. There are those support and resistance we use, which are round numbers. Round numbers can be used as support and resistance. You could also, let me see if someone is pending. You could also use Fibonacci. Fibonacci's retracements. This could be support and resistance. You can use trend lines. You can use trend lines as support and resistance. Now I am introducing pivot points. You can use pivot points. Pivot points can be support and resistance. I mean, there could be so many other things you could use to create support and resistance. So today we are looking at pivot points. So straight away, how do we use pivot points to trade? So follow carefully. Number one, let me show you the easiest way to trade pivot points. But before I proceed, I want to be sure that we are together. So let me get to hear what you guys are. Is the introduction to pivot points okay? All right, so let me proceed to show you how to trade pivot points using the close open. Number one, all you need to do is, we are aware that from normal trading, if you draw your support level, if this is a support level, and you get a red candle to close on your support level, sorry, if you get a red candle closing on your support level like that, exactly on your level, possibly with a tiny wick, the next candle is likely to be green. If it opens from the same level, it's likely to go up. I believe we are familiar with that concept. It's because of this concept that I want to show you something. So we have a support level. We have a red candle closing on that support level with a tiny wick below it. And the next candle opens at the same level where the red candle closed. Then the next candle is likely to go up. Higher probability of going up. Now, following that same logic, I would like you to identify pivot points, which are support. Remember, when price is above a level, that level is support. When price is below a level, that level is resistance. So how do we trade then? Look at what I'm doing here on the chart. I'm going to zoom. If you look at this candle, guys, this candle closed at a resistance level. This candle closed at a resistance level. And you can see the next candles. If you take 2 candles or 3 candles, those would be ITMs for you. Let me give you an example. Hello? Is there a question? Because I'm demonstrating when you can take a trade. Is there a question from members? And
no, sir. Right
yes.
now, no question.
Okay, let me proceed and show you how you can take trades from a pivot point indicator. Now, assuming you start your day from somewhere here, remember these lines are drawn for you by the indicator. They automatically, they don't repaint, they don't keep on adjusting, they are drawn there. So your target would be, you are waiting for price to come and a candle to close right on that level. If you're coming from below the level, so that level is resistance. So in our case here, this could be resistance. This is resistance because we are coming from below. So if you see a candle close on resistance with an upper rejection wick, a candle closing like that, then you can do a put. If you see, if the market is coming down like this to your level, and a candle closes like this with a rejection below, a rejection wick or a shadow, you can do a call. So this is what we are looking at. I'm not even introducing trend. If you look at this candle has closed here, but this is a strong candle, stronger than the rest of the green candles before. Being a momentum candle, you don't trade that kind of setup. Now, if you look at this candle is coming after a breakout. This candle is coming after a breakout. And if you look at the upper wick, I'm going to zoom the chart further. If you look at the body of the candle and the wick, there is a wick on top. There is a wick above. There is no wick below. And the candle is even smaller than several other candles before it. And that is what you might call a retracement candle. If you see something like this on your chart, after breakout, that means you are simply retesting the level that was broken and you are rejecting that level. For that reason, you can do a put on the next candle, 1 or 2 candles, even 3 candles. I'll give you more examples of how to do this. Is what I call close, open, close, open. Now there's a problem with this because the market opened above, did not open at the same level. And for that reason, you could actually ignore this setup. What I expect is where the green candle has closed is where the red candle should open. But there was a gap up, and that was not a very good setup. Now, this could be a good setup, this, but this is a losing trade. So let's identify opportunities where a candle closes at that level, and the next candle would be an opportunity for you to go long, to buy, or to sell, or to put or call. There are numerous examples. I'll show you. This candle, let's start seeing those cases. This candle closes at resistance. The next 2 candles go down. This candle closes at a resistance with a rejection. This candle gives you a winning signal. Okay? This candle closes at resistance. The next candle is a winning trade. Forget those that close above. I want those that close exactly at the level. This candle closes at support. The next candle is green. This one closes at support. We go up. This one closes at resistance because we are coming from below. The next candle is a put and is a winning one. Keep on going. I just want you to identify those cases where you can actually wait for a candle to close at the level and you trade the next candle in the opposite direction. So going by that, let me see how far we can go. Yes, we come back to here. This one closes at resistance, next candle goes down. Closes at resistance, next candle goes up a little bit, but this one closes also at resistance, we go down. If we move on, this one closes at resistance, this one goes up, okay? Now that's on this pair. I just want to confirm to you that you can create a very nice strategy around pivot points as support and resistance. Okay, so what do we see next? We see this. Closes at support with a nice rejection, the next candle is green. A nice rejection on support, the next candle is green. Some few more examples, then I will tell you what you can do to improve your win rate on this. Closes, look at how it rejects resistance and the next candle goes down. Rejects support, next candle is green. Rejects support, next candle is green. Rejects support, next candle still goes down, but still a nice rejection. You can do a single martingale there. Okay. Rejection, you trade the next one. Close at support, you call. Rejection, you call. This is not even a touch, so I would wait until it touches. I don't want to trade before the candle touches. Rejection of resistance, you put. Rejection, you put. Close at resistance, put. Rejection, put. Rejection, call. Close at resistance, put. Rejection, put. Now, those are numerous examples. This is close at support, the next candle is green. As you can see, there are numerous cases where a pivot point pinpoints. Look at that candle closing exactly at support level with a tiny wick, you call the next one. This one is a rejection. How do you want to trade this? When you have a rejection like this, a red candle rejecting support, my most ideal way of trading that setup would be, I would wait until the next candle comes and touches the exact level that was rejected. Then I'll enter a trade to expire at the close of the candle. Look at this. Reject support. Next candle also comes and touches support. Now my entry will be here. And my expiry would be that candle. Look at the same thing. Reject support. Next candle touches the pivot point, closes above it. That is a winner. This one rejects support. Next candle touches, closes above, a winner. So this is how you can trade the pivot point, support, and resistance, guys. I've shown you how you do rejections. I've shown you how to do close and open, all right? Those are two ways you can trade this. And you may also have noticed this, that after the market breaks a resistance level with a long candle like here, when it comes back, it usually first time rejects that level a number of times. A strong breakout, first candle to touch the level is a rejection. So you can place a trade close at the open, at the close of the candle, that's the expiry, close of that candle. Just wait for a very strong breakout. You can see a very strong candle breaking out resistance or breaking your support level. Then you can wait for a rejection after that. Let me see whether I can get another setup. Look at this. A long candle breaks this level. The first candle that touched here did not close above. It closed below. So you could do that trade. Same thing here. A nice breakout, a rejection. Okay. A nice candle breaks above that level, and when the next candle comes, touches that level, there's a rejection. You can also place a trade there. So those are three ways you could trade pivot points in binary options successfully with a very high win rate. So I open the floor to your questions if you have, and then we'll see how to proceed, because I'm going to have a number of webinars where we'll talk about different support and resistances. Today we were looking at pivot points. Your questions, guys? Any questions? Sarkar, any question?
Hello.
Yes?
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Oh, it appears you guys don't have questions. So does it mean you have understood how you can use pivot points? You can type a yes there if that's okay with you. I see one member saying yes, another member saying yes. What I'll do is I will share the indicator with you guys and practice with it and share with me your results. Remember, you can back test this indicator. It doesn't repaint. So you can go back. You can go back in time and see what kind of setups you would have taken. For example, you can try this with the USD card. Go back and see on USD card, if a candle closed at support, is the next candle green, you realize it's true. Yes? If it rejected, and can I trade the next rejection? And you realize it's true. So I would like you to start sharing setups like this with me, even in the main group, so that we help one another as well. It's not the holy grail, but once you understand how this is working, like I've already explained, you can start taking some nice setups from this indicator alone, because it's a reliable support and resistance indicator also. Thank you for attending this session. See you next Friday for another session, God willing.